In this video, we're going to talk about how to push through when life gets difficult coming up. A lot of things happen when life gets difficult. You go through a lot of different things. You may be going through a lot of different emotions if your life is, taking a turn for the worse. And, sometimes we get so wrapped up and we don't know what to do next. So let's talk about some of the things that we can do to help you push through those situations in life. The first thing that is a very powerful thing to do is to heal from whatever trauma has caused the adverse situation. You may have gone through, a breakup. You may have gone through a job loss. You may have gone through, a death in the family, anything that, can cause you to feel kind of out of sorts. And you want to heal from those things. You want to take some time and bring yourself back to a place where you are aligned with the things that are happening in your life. And I know it's easier said than done because, when you're going through something, the last thing you want to do is, really think about it. You want to try to move past it as quickly as possible. But, what'll happen sometimes if you do that is that you're not really healing from those situations and you start to get into a whole nother realm and you can't really get your life back together because you are still dealing with those issues. Don't try to, shield yourself from the emotions by throwing yourself into other things. And we do this a lot. We start to throw ourselves into work or throw ourselves into relationships and situations that are not helpful for us. And what that does is just compounds the problem sometimes. So try to really heal from actually what's happening by taking that time to go through the emotions. I know the emotions are hard to go through when you have experienced something traumatic in your life or whatever it is. It can be difficult to get back to that point of clarity. So really take that time and allow yourself to heal and you'll be better for it. Now, the next thing you could do is really to focus on your why. Specifically, if you have already been on a journey of doing great things and you want to continue on that journey, but you have kind of reached a bump in the road for whatever reason, you want to start focusing on your why because that will give you that staying power and allow you to move through whatever situations you are currently in. Because the worst thing that can happen is you start to focus so much on the hard times that you're having and it doesn't allow you to move past that. So when you go through things, try to really focus on your why and you'll feel better about what you're doing. You'll feel better about what's happening. Say for instance, you're on your financial journey and, you take a really big hit financially for whatever reason. That can be discouraging. That can be very discouraging, especially if you worked hard to get to whatever point in your journey, your financial journey. You may have, started saving. You may have really taken time to change some habitual things in your life to put you on a different path, a path of prosperity in whatever you're doing. And for whatever reason, something just kind of knocks you off of that financially. That can be very difficult. It can be a really hard blow. So, really take that time to focus on your why and it'll get you through that moment. It'll get you through that space so that you can get to the other side of that and start back getting on track because it's coming. You're going to be able, at some point, you're going to be able to get back on track. That's what you always have to keep in the forefront of your mind. Whatever season you're in with whatever you're doing, it's a season and those things will pass and you'll be able to get back on track. And when you get back on track, you just want to be, still in the right spirit of what you're doing and still in the right frame of mind so that you're not, down and so that you're not sad about what you're doing. You want to still be upbeat and positive about what you've accomplished and what you're going to accomplish. So definitely do that. Take that moment to put those things in perspective and you'll be better for it. The next thing you can do that's really helpful is actually to redefine your story. We all have a story to tell, especially when things, don't go our way and things get really difficult in our lives. So really taking a moment to redefine that story and redefine that narration and that vision that's happening to us in our lives will give us perspective and allow us to see something different, to see a different outcome. And a good way to do that is just take inventory of the things that have happened, good and bad, and really put those things that have been good things in your life, put them on the forefront and really show yourself that you have, done great things and you have, achieved things and you've gone through milestones to get to whatever point so that you can really see that, there can be a better outcome, and it will really help you to shape your future into the future that you want, regardless of what you're going through. If you're experiencing job loss or something like that, look at the possibilities of, being an entrepreneur or anything like that you've been wanting to do. Start to put those things in motion in your mind so that you can shape that narrative differently versus just wallowing in, that you lost your job or, whatever has happened. And I know these things are easier said than done, but these are things that really do help you get in the right frame of mind if used correctly. And be patient with yourself. You have to be patient with yourself when you are trying to move through difficult times in your life. And I know it's difficult sometimes for us to do that because we are our worst critics sometimes, and we get to a point where we really get down on ourselves because we know what we're capable of and we know what we want. We want to get to a point where, the things we're putting in motion or our dreams are coming true. And, it's hard when we falter on those things or when we're going through things that are adverse and against what we're trying to accomplish. It's really difficult. So, be patient with yourself and don't allow yourself to start to nitpick at yourself about what you haven't accomplished, because, you can always do better. There's always an opportunity to do better. You just have to keep pushing and moving in that direction, and you will eventually get there. And the next thing that you want to do that's really important is you want to seek and nurture your happiness over your prosperity. And this is a big thing that you can do to really get yourself through whatever situations, because a lot of times we do focus on the prosperity of what we're doing. And, our mind is so focused on accomplishing things. And if you are in that state, yes, you may be moving forward, but when something catastrophic happens, as we're mentioning, when something happens that is unforeseen and it really gets you off your life game, it's really hard to kind of cope with those things if you aren't focusing on the things that make you happy. So definitely focus on your happiness when you get in those moments when you're dealing with something that's really difficult. Focus on your happiness and allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself to see the small wins and the small things that really give your life meaning, because in those moments, those things will really matter. Those things will really matter, and they will shape the outcomes. Those things will really shape the outcomes if you allow them to. And lastly, you want to understand when you have won. This is something I see a lot in people. We get to a point where we've been working so hard at something or, really toiling at something. And when we get through something that's adverse in that thing, we work so hard to get through that, we don't recognize when we've actually won. So knowing when you've actually won the game is a very important thing. And, really having that perspective of when to stop pushing on something and when to, know that, hey, I'm at the point of really realizing what I've been setting out and what I've been striving for this whole time. I'm at that point where I have achieved that. You want to know that when you get to that point, because that is the moment that you're going to be able to move past whatever adversities you're actually going through into getting back on track with what you're doing, getting back on your journey, whether that be a journey of financial freedom or, bettering your health or whatever it is, whatever you were setting out to do, knowing when you have actually won the battle of getting through the adversity in that thing is very important. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.